Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Tom Worth Jr. Today in The Hague in the Netherlands, an international Ukraine war damages body was agreed to by EU leaders. And this thing is a couple years in the making now. For the past 2 years, there has been a way to set up claims for damages in Ukraine due to the Russian invasion. And so far, as of the end of last year, there have been 86,000 claims filed in Ukraine for the invasion, totaling over $500 billion worth of damages that Russia should be responsible for compensating and rebuilding. It should be reparations for starting a war of aggression. This is a very old concept. The loser has to pay. In this case, we're not necessarily waiting for a loser. We're just saying the one who started it has to pay. And it's an inarguable concept. And it's one that Europeans have agreed to this morning. Of course, Russia is not on board with this. The United States hasn't chimed in on this yet. The United States keeps telling Europe, hey, take care of this yourselves. And Europe is doing just that. Now, this comes in the face of only 2 days to go until a meeting in Brussels on Thursday, where European leaders are expected to probably reject a deal to use over $200 billion worth of Russian assets that are frozen, largely in Belgium. The Belgians are resisting this. There is another alternative, and that is to provide loans guaranteed by individual countries in the EU. And that's something that can be vetoed. It only takes one country to stand against it. And of course, Viktor Orban, Putin and Trump ally, would veto anything like that. So it's really not an option. Germany really doesn't love that option either. Germany doesn't want to personally guarantee this money. They've had to really ramp up their defense spending, and they are doing even more so this year and next year and all the way through 2029. I saw a great 60 Minutes segment on the German military buildup. I think it was just this week, but I watched that clip this morning. This is really expensive, and this is what the United States has been largely footing since the end of World War II. And this is what the United States has always wanted the Europeans to foot more of the bill for. And they have been, and they are continuing to do so. But man, it's expensive when you look at these dollar amounts. And this is so simple. You use the money that is frozen Russian assets in Europe to fund Ukraine itself, as the U.S. funding has largely dried up. The Ukrainians are having to use money for their own defense, for their own military. The Europeans are doing this as well. But they have a country to run, and they have to fix things as they break. They have to fix energy infrastructure that the Russians keep destroying. And that takes money. So using this Russian money to operate Ukraine as a country, and they said it will go at least 2 years, the funds that are frozen right now. Ukraine will be set for all of 26 and all of 27 if they can use that. So it just makes all kinds of sense. And with the U.S. totally abandoning Ukraine, that's what Trump's trying to get them to do. It just makes sense. So psychologically, if Vladimir Putin knows that Ukraine is self-funding for another 2 years, it's gonna change his thinking. Right now, he is very Trumpian. I don't know if you saw the interview excerpts from Vanity Fair for Trump's chief of staff, but she compared his personality to an alcoholic's personality, in that, a reason to not drink, well, maybe a reason to drink when you're starting to drink, is that liquid courage, that bulletproof feeling, that self-confidence it gives you. Well, she says Trump has that, even though he's never been an alcoholic. But she was raised by an alcoholic father, and she saw up close what it does to you. She said he operates like that, just that's just his normal operating way. That invincible feeling, that stance that absolutely nothing is impossible for him. That he just ignores all reality. Those are my words, but that he says nothing, absolutely nothing, is impossible for him. That's just what I think she calls it the personality of an alcoholic. I call it delusional. I call it malignant narcissism. There are psychological terms to describe this phenomenon. She's choosing not to use them. And then everyone was wondering, like, wow, why did she give this interview? Why did she say these things to Vanity Fair, of all places? And now that it's out today, all they did was publish what she said. And she's saying, no, it's out of context. This is a hit piece. This is a hit piece. So I love that. So Trump's going to be all kinds of bent out of shape about what she said. And so is J.D. Vance. He did not come out looking good at all in this. She just painted him as the opportunistic idiot that he is, and that Trump is falling for it. Anyway, a lot going on today, but I'm keeping my eye on the EU money stuff. There were more meetings in Berlin. We should see an announcement over what the Europeans were able to come up with as a peace plan, and then how Trump chooses to shoot that down, whether he acts like he's going along with it first and then shoots it down, or whether he just says, hey, I want to get this done by Christmas. That remains to be seen. But nothing's going to happen there, right? We all know there will be no peace. Putin's not going to stop fighting. Ukrainians are not going to stop defending. What really matters is the Russian money, because the Russians don't have much money anymore. And if they see 210 billion of it just go away, then I think that changes how things are going to play out. All right, we'll talk later.